In this tutorial, I will demonstrate the step-by-step procedure to install and create an Oracle Database 19c on Oracle Enterprise Linux 8.4 with Automatic Storage Management (ASM). Oracle ASM is a volume manager and file system for Oracle database file that supports single instance Oracle database and Oracle Real Application Cluster Oracle RAC configuration. Oracle ASM use disk group to store data files, and Oracle ASM disk group is a collection of disks that Oracle ASM manages as a unit. Within Oracle disk group, Oracle ASM exposes a file system interface for Oracle database file. The content of the file that are stored in a disk group is evenly distributed to eliminate hotspot and provide a uniform performance across the disk. You can add or remove disks from disk group while the database continues to access files from the disk group. You can add or remove disks from disk group. Like Oracle ASM automatically redistribute the file content and eliminates the need of downtime when redistributing the content. So guys, I'm going to follow this procedure for this demo purpose. In the first step, I will create the virtual hard disk to be used by ASM. In the second, OS prerequisite setup. So I will set up all the OS to install the Oracle software. And third, you need to download the Oracle software installer and grid software installer from Oracle site. You can download the Oracle's software and grid software for free. Just you need an Oracle account. You can create an Oracle account for free. And in the fourth step, we will configure and change the Linux kernel parameter. In the fifth step, we will set up the environment variable for the OS account, that is grid&oracle. In the sixth step, we will install ASM package and create an ASM disk volume. In the seventh step, we will install additional packages that are required by the Oracle software. Similarly, in the 8th step, we will install Oracle Grid Infrastructure software in our rack called Restart. In the 9th step, we will create ASM disk group. And finally, we will install Oracle database software and create the sample database. So the sample database is optional one. If you wish to have the sample database on your system, like or on your database, then you can create this one. Or if you don't need, then you can skip this part. So we'll thoroughly go through this point, and finally we'll validate some post installation. Alright, that's we can dive to our main agendas. First, you need to have the Oracle Enterprise Linux. If you guys want to check how to install Oracle Enterprise Linux 8, you can check my previous video. I will also keep link in the description box, so make sure you check it out. For this demo purpose, I am using VMware Workstation. So yeah, first let's add a hard disk for the Oracle ASM. I have already added one hard disk of 20 GB. So let's add another one for OCR and one for data disks. Okay, just click on hard disks and select the hard disks and click on add. Okay, then go to next. Okay, then here there is a virtual hard disk type you wish to have. I will go with some recommended one by the workstation, VMware Workstation and VME. Okay, go to next. Okay, I will create the new virtual hard disk. Click on next. Maximum size. Okay, I will go the default one, 20 GB. If you wish to have a bigger size, then you can allocate it. And I will split disks into multiple files. And go to next. Okay, then you can name your virtual machine disk file. Alright, so I like to go with the default one. If it is done, then you can just click on finish. Okay, then just click on OK. I think you should be able to see the two hard disks, one which I previously created, and the hard disk 3 is a recently created one. So if it is done, then you can just power on your virtual machine. For this demo, installation architecture will be like this. I am having Oracle database home, and I am having at least 2 home directory for database home and one for grid home. And for grid home, there will be two hard disks or disks group. One is OCR and another is data disks. Each of them will have 20 GB. Okay, that's the installation overview. In the third step, it's the second step, we will configure. We have already done the step 1. Now we will set up our OS, or prerequisite setup will be done from this step. Okay, for testing purpose, minimum 8 GB memory would be fine. That's only for the VMOS, so you should have the separate memory for your physical machine. For better performance, it's better to give a high spec, it's better to give a high memory allocation. So secondly, we have to check the swap size. So if you are running Oracle database on your environment and having some performance issue because of memory, you may have to look at the swap space configured on the system. So actually there is a recommendation from Oracle in terms of how much space you should add. So here, if your RAM size is less than or equal to 2 GB, your swap size should be at least 1.5 times of the RAM. For example, if your RAM size is 2 GB, you should create a swap space of 3 GB. Right? If your RAM size is between 2 GB and 16 GB, your swap size should be same size of the RAM. For example, if your RAM size is 4 GB, your swap size should be 4 GB. Similarly, if your RAM size is more than 16 GB, your swap size should be 16 GB. For example, if your RAM size is 32 GB, it is enough if you create the swap size of 16 GB. Alright, so your PC should have free space of around 100 GB. At least, I think it depend upon how much you would like to configure your guest OS. Now, we need to set secure Linux to permissive by editing the etc se linux config file. Now we have to log in with the root user to your Linux machine. Alright, I'm using Mobile Extreme for this demo. This is a terminal. You can download it for free. Mobile Extreme supports X Windows Server, so if you want to install GUI application, then you can do it by using our Mobile Extreme. But if you guys want to work directly to your Linux virtual machine inside the Linux virtual machine, that's also fine. Alright, okay, let's log into our system. We'll log in with our root user. Okay, let's clear the screen. Now edit the file etc under this se linux config. Okay, you can see se linux right now is set to enforcing. You just set to permissive, or you can just disable it. Okay, just save it. Now we have to disable our firewall so that we can access from the outside. Okay, let's check our firewall status. Firewall -cmd and _state. Right now our firewall is running, is enabled, so we'll just disable it or stop the firewall. System ctl stop firewall d. Okay, then we will just disable the firewall. Okay, let's check the status. Right now it's not running. Now let's check if your machine has fully qualified domain name or not. Just check the host name. Go with the command hostname ctl status. You can find the static host name for your machine. Alright, and then you can see a kernel or operating system. This is Oracle Linux server 8.4. Now make sure you edit your host file. Okay, it should be in static host name and your host name. It should be not the same, but make sure that it has a FQDN, fully qualified domain name. So I think for me this will be fine. Now we have to download the Oracle database installer file. You can download it from the Oracle site. I'll give links in the description box, so if you want to check, please check this in the description box. So for Oracle database 19c, at the time of this recording or creating this demo video, Oracle database 19.3 is a released one. So you have to download the Oracle DB home and Oracle database 19c grid infrastructure 19.3. Alright, so make sure you download the two one. You need an Oracle account. You can create it for free. So if you let's check how it works. Just click on, you have to accept the license, Oracle license agreement, and click on download. Alright, okay. Okay, here you can see you have to give your username and password. If you don't have Oracle account, you can create it from here. Alright, I think it's a simple one. I think you can do it. In the step 4, after you download your Oracle software, that is Oracle software installer and grid software installer, we'll move to the step 4, and in step 4 we'll configure the Linux kernel parameter required to install the Oracle software. For this demo, I am using automatic setup for RPM file and Linux parameter. If you plan to use Oracle database 19c pre-install 19c package to perform all your prerequisite setup, then you should run the following command, that is dnf install -y Oracle database pre-install 19c. Or you can do a manual setup. Okay, for manual setup, you have to edit the file etc/sysctl.com file, or file name maybe something like etc/sysctl.d -oracle conf. You have to edit all this Oracle Linux kernel parameter. Right, this is all the Linux kernel parameter, and then you have to make this, like you have to run the command sbin sysctl-p to make those command effective to your system. Alright, similarly this is all for manual setup. So if you run the Oracle automatic setup, like parameter or Linux parameter setup, then all these setting or like all the configuration are automatically applied to your system, so you don't have to do anything if you run with the automatic setup. Also your OS disk group, OS group are also created, and along with that Oracle account, that Oracle is also created for you by the automatic installer. Alright, let's log into our system with our root user. Okay, we will go with the dnf install -y Oracle database pre-install 19c. Just run this command. I think this is going to take some time, it's like 1 minute, less than 1 minute, so let's wait. Okay, it seems like our Oracle setup, automatic setup has completely done. Now let's move on to the next step. It's in the step 5, install additional packages required. So maybe some of the packages are already installed, so but let's go with all this command. We'll just install this package. I think this is also going to take some time, since there is a lot many packages to install. So I think maybe you can wait for some time. Okay, our additional packages are also successfully installed. Now we will check, go to the next step. I think OS group are also installed by our automatic setup, pre-installed setup. So let's check. You can check by using id command and user Oracle. Okay, I think you can see these are all the groups that are installed. like configured by the automatic setup. So you don't have to run all this command like group add -g and this command. So all you have to do is you have to run this command. You have to modify the user Oracle to the groups, right? You can just run this command. Okay, then just change your password for Oracle user. Okay, you can use the Oracle SSWD and username Oracle. Okay, then we type the same password. Here all authentication tokens updated successfully for the Oracle user. Similarly, you have to add one user, grid user. You have to add it manually. This is not installed by the pre-installed automatic setup. So you can just run this command, user add, and group. We install G and all this group. Okay, I think group user is added. You have to change your password for the grid user. Okay, password authentication token updated successfully. Now in the next step, you have to log in with you have to set the environment variable for OS account, grid&oracle. For in the first step, we will log in with the Oracle user account and open the bash_profile and add these all environment variables. Okay, let's log in. Here I have logged in with the Oracle account and grid. You can just rename the tab so so that you won't be confused. Grid, and also you can just set the color, tab color. All right, okay. Now edit the file bash_profile. Okay. Okay, you can just add this environment file for Oracle account. Alright, okay, let's save it. To make it effective to your system, like to refresh your system, so make sure you run the command source and bash profile. Right, let's check if these all are set or not using set command, grep -i and over a. Okay, you can see all the environment variables that we set in the previous step in the bash_profile. You can see Oracle SID, Oracle base, Oracle home directory, right? And similarly Oracle host name. You can also confirm from here. Okay. Okay, we have already done this step. Now we will create the Oracle cluster where and Oracle home directories. You can just run this command, make directory -p and all the directories, one for home, DB home, one for grid home. Right, you have to run this command by the root user. So go to the root tab and run this command. Right, okay, let's check. You can see there is a you can see there is a two home, there is a grid and Oracle like directory. Okay, in the next step, in terminal window, switch the user to grid and open the bash_profile and add the following environment variables. Alright, we have to run this like edit the environment variable for grid user. So go to the grid user tab. Okay, run this bash, edit this bash profile and just paste it and save it. Okay, you have to also activate this setting by by using source command. Alright, okay, you can just check by using set and whip ASM. Okay, you can see Oracle SID as ASM. Okay, we have all done this step. In the 7th step, we will install the ASM packages. So you have to change the current user to root. So we have to go to the root tab and install ASM library package. Now change your directory to the temp folder or any folder directory you wish to have change. Okay, now run this command wget, and for this Oracle ASM library RPM package. So this will download to your temp folder. Okay, similarly we need to download Oracle ASM support package. Okay, let's check the ASM temp directory. You can see there is a true RPM package, and let's install this by using RPM UPH and Oracle ASM library. So you just copy the file name and just press enter. Okay, now similarly install the Oracle ASM support. Okay, I think it's successfully installed. Okay, now you have to install Kmode Oracle ASM, and this is going to take some couple of minutes. So let's install this. Okay, give it yes as Y. Now we will configure and load the ASM kernel model. Okay, you have to run the Oracle ASM configure -y, and you can give the driver interface user to run the driver interface as grid, group as Y install, and both the command for ASM library on reboot Y and ASM disk on boot Y. Right, just run this command. This is a grid and Y install Y and Y. Okay, successfully done. Now we will load the Oracle kernel module by using the command usr spin Oracle ASM -it. Alright, so this will list your disk as seen by the OS that we previously added. Okay, this is an Oracle ASM disk group. Now you can just list your disk by using the fdisk -l and grep command. Okay, let's check what's there. Okay, you can see there is a 2 disk. This is one of main disks, 100 GB for the OS, one for OSR, and one for data disk. Alright, now use the fdisk command to create a partition in the disk. So you can just run the fdisk command and the disk name. Okay, before running, there is some value you need to give. You have to give the np1 enter w to apply changes. Alright, you can just run this command. Okay, there is an n, default as a p, or you can go with the enter command. 1 enter first sector. Okay, then you also for the last sector press enter and W to make changes. Okay, similarly for partition number 3, it is NVMe 0 and 3. On this fdisk command is np1 enter and W. Okay, we have done for the second text file also. Now let's verify if the partitions are successfully created or not. You can use a ftext list command. Okay, you can see here the text file Linux LVM created for. Okay, I think this is the one. It's created 2p1 and 3p1, right? Now we will create the ASM disk. To create the ASM disk, use the command Oracle ASM create disk, name of the disk and your disk volume. Okay, and it is successfully run. Similarly, we will run for this another disk 3p1. Okay, I think it's also done. Okay, now we will just list the disks. Let's check if they are successfully created or not. Okay, you can see the data disk 1 and OCR disk 1 are created. Now in this step 8, we will install Oracle Grid Infrastructure software as a Oracle restart. So in the following step, you will install Oracle Grid Infrastructure software. The installation procedure automatically creates and starts the FlashTower service as well. So I hope you guys have already downloaded the Oracle Grid Infrastructure software to any temp folder. So you need to extract the file, installation file, to the Oracle Grid Infrastructure home directory. Alright. Now change your direct terminal to the grid user and use the unzip command. Unzip command home underscore software. I think I have kept the installer over here. Grid home.zip file and the directory name to Oracle home. Okay, I think let's check the Oracle. Okay, before that, let's check if our Oracle home it's set Oracle home is it? Okay, it's under app, grid and product 9.0.0 grid home. Now you can just unzip the installer. Okay, your media location, software and grid D2 Oracle home. So Oracle home over here is set as app grid product 19.0.0 grid home. Alright, then you just run this command. So this is extraction is going to take some couple of minutes, so till then let's wait. Okay, looks like our extraction is successfully done. Okay, the next step we will install the CVUQ disk as a root. Okay, let's go to the root user and change the directory to app grid product 19.0.0 grid underscore home. Okay, I think there is one space. This file we need to RPM package we need to install. Before that, let's export the CPU disk group as install and install the RPM package as IPN this file. Okay, I think it's done. Okay, in the another step, we have to edit the CVU underscore config file because there is a you need to give the correct Linux distribution. Okay, let's go and check this file. Okay, let's go to the grid user. We're under grid. Okay, let's edit. It's under, I think, cview. Cview conf. Okay, sorry, maybe it's under admin, like cv admin cview to config. Okay, here we can see fallback of the distribution ID. Just on comment it, and here OLE5 is registered. We have to give the distribution ID as 8.4. Okay, I think now we are all set to run the grid setup.assets. Okay, run the grid setup.assets. So this mobile stream will install, or you can install a GUI application without logging to your actual Linux machine. So it's actually the terminal. This is terminal. So we are launching Oracle Grid Infrastructure Setup Wizard. So I think this is going to take. Okay, I think it's started. You can see I'm running from my Windows machine and the Linux machine. We can run the GUI installation. Okay, let's wait. I think it's reloading. Okay, here you can see the select configuration option. So we'll configure Oracle Grid infrastructure for a standalone server. Oracle restart. Select the second one and go to next. Here redundancy should be set to external, and we have to change the discovery path. That's Oracle ASM disk, and click on OK. You can see your data disk 1 and OCR disk 1. Click on OCR disk 1 and go to next. Okay, here you have to set the same password for your account, or you can use a different password for all this sys and ASM sync. Go to next. You can go to next. Here OSM administrator will be ASM admin, Oracle ASM DBA will be ASM DBA, and Oracle ASM operator will be ASM OPR, right? So leave it default and go to next. Okay, here Oracle base for grid infrastructure will be under app and grid. Okay, we'll just go with the next because we will run this configuration script by manually, but if you wish to run configuration script, you can just check over here and give the password for the root user. All right, go to next, and there is going some prerequisite check. So you need to pass all the prerequisite check to proceed further. So if there is any issue, then you need to solve it, or you need to fix this issue before proceeding further. Okay, prerequisite check it's successfully passed. So here in the summary you can find all the parameter file. Okay, if you are done, then if you wish to save the response file for the future uses, if you want to use like if you want to install in a silent mode, silent installation, then maybe this response file will be useful for you. So if you want to save, you can just save it. If not, then just click on install. Right, the installation has started, so this is going to take some couple of minutes. So till then, let's wait. I'll be back. Now run the flying to script command in the by root user. Okay. User has been okay. Let's go with the default. Click on enter. I think it's going to take some time, so till then let's wait. Okay, our second command also seems like it's successfully configured. Oracle restart for a standalone server. Okay, let's go to the installation panel. Okay, then you can just click on OK. Now remaining setup and installation will proceed. So till then I think we have to wait for some time for this also. Configuration of Oracle grid&oracle tools for standalone servers was successful. This means that our grid&oracle software has been successfully installed. You can now close this installation panel. Okay, now you can check the CRS status, cluster ready service, by using command CRS ctl status and resource -t. Oh, sorry, it's right now I mean root. We need to run by grid user. Go to the grid and I think you can just run this show here. Okay, now you can see the status should be stable. Now, okay, it's started for the ora.asm. Cluster where resource is also in the stable condition, so I think we are all set for the Oracle grid infrastructure. Okay, now we will create ASM disk group. To create an ASM disk group, we have to initiate the ASM configuration assistant by running the ASM CA configuration assistant command. The GUI panel will display. Okay, here you can see Oracle grid infrastructure. Now click on plus the disk group, click on data. Now you can see there is one data group. We will create another one. Name this group name is data disks. Now select the redundancy as external and click on disk path and name a disk group as a data disk and click on OK. Now it's creating a data disk group. Okay, here you can see there is a two, one is data and one is data disk. Finally click on exit and click on yes. Okay, since we have configured ASM disk group and installed Oracle grid infrastructure software, now we will install Oracle database software, that is a home, Oracle home. So make sure you have downloaded the Oracle Linux DB home and switch to the Oracle user and unzip in the Oracle home directory, that is for DB home. And for this also you have to edit a fake Oracle Linux release to the correct one. Here it should be 8.4, sorry. And then just open the terminal and you can run the non-installer script to configure and install the Oracle database software. Alright, so let's type. So here I have summarized some point configuration field. For configuration option, you can create and configure as a single instance database, system class, a server class. So I think we can check at the same time of installing. So we'll just skip this. You can just go to the Oracle home directory. You can see it's under the app Oracle product 19.0.db home. Okay, now we will unzip the file. Unzip software db home zip. So this will unzip the file under this db home. Now run this command. Extraction has successfully done, so we will run installer command. Now in configuration option, select create and configure a single instance database. This option will create a starter database. So click on next. We will go with the server class, enterprise edition, Oracle list as app and Oracle. Click on next. So we'll go the general purpose transaction processing option. Click on next. In the database identifier, we will name global data name as MyDB and container DB as the ORCL PDB. Click on next. For memory, you can go with this 40%. For character set, use Unicode AL32 UTF-8. In sample schema, if you want to install sample schemas in the database, you can just check this, or if you don't want, you can just uncheck it. So click on next. For database storage, we have configured the ASM, automatic storage management. Click on ASM, Oracle automatic storage management option. Leave it default and go to next. Okay, you can just leave it as default and go to next. Okay, here we have to select the data disk and go to next. Schema password, use the same password for the all account. And click on next. These all groups are automatically selected, so you can just go with the default one. Okay, in here configuration script, if you wish to automatically run the configuration script by root user, you can just check over here and give a super user password, your root password. Click on next. Now it is checking some prerequisite. Right here, prerequisite check has successfully passed. Here is a summary. If you want to save a response file, you can save by clicking the save response file. Then click on install. Here the configuration script generated by the installer need to be run as a privileged root user. Installer will run this script using the privileged user credential provided earlier. So are you sure you want to continue? Click on yes. Now the installation will proceed. Configuration of Oracle database was successful. Just close this panel. Okay, now we will do some post validation. By default, password or your Oracle user password will be expired after 180 days, and that means after 6 months. So you can change it by the following command. Alter. First you have to log in with the SQL plus/s sysdba and run the command alter profile default limit password lifetime as unlimited. Alright, let's log in. SQL plus/s. Okay, now we are connected to the Oracle database 19c Enterprise Edition. Okay, profile has been altered, so your password won't expire after 180 days. Now let's check the instance status by using a select instance name status from the $instance. Now we have instance names as MyDB. Status is now open. Right, you can just now exist. You can check the listener status also by using lesson RCTL status. Listener is also running, so I think we are all done. Thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. Your subscription will surely give us motivation to create more content. So I will upload more contents in the future, so make sure you hit the bell icon so that you won't miss when I upload a new video. Till then, take care and bye bye.